So the question here asks how to solve radical equations. These are equations that have radicals in them, like equations that have square roots in them. For example, if you have one that looks like this, 2x minus, let's say plus 8 minus 4 equals 6. So remember, solving equation means finding out what x is. Okay, so here you have an equation that has a square root in it. In order to solve this type of equations, you need to follow these 3 steps here. So let's make a note of this. Step 1, you need to isolate the radical. Isolate the radical, meaning you want to get the radical to one side, and here it's already on the left side, so we're good there. Step 2, we need to raise both sides of the equation to the correct power. And you'll see what we mean here in just a bit. In order to cancel out the radical, okay, so just get this first and then we'll demonstrate, okay? So, and then of course step 3 is to solve for x. Find out what x is. Okay, so let's apply what we've just written down to this equation here. So, just going to rewrite this over here. So, just writing this down for you. 2x plus 8 inside the square root minus 4 equals 6. Okay. Step 1, isolating the radical means to get the radical by itself. Okay. But here we have the minus 4 that's in the way. So let's get rid of that. What's the opposite of minus 4? If you say plus 4, you are correct. So this cancels out. You have square root of 2x plus 8 equals 6 plus 4. Okay. So that's step 1. Step 2 says we need to raise both sides of the equation to the correct power to cancel out the radical. So here, remember, you have a little 2 here outside of the radical. So in order to get rid of the square root here, we need to multiply both sides by 2. Okay? So you have the radical to the second power. You're going to get rid of the radical and you're eventually going to have 2x plus 8 equals 10 squared, which is 10 times 10. Okay, so that was painless, right? Step 3, we're going to solve for x. So do what you need to do from algebra 1 and then isolate x. So let's get rid of the plus 8 here by subtracting it away. So now we'll have, this cancels out, 2x is equal to 100 minus 8. Okay, so to finish this off, we are going to need to get rid of the 2 in front of the x. So what's the opposite of times 2? you're right. We need to divide by 2. That will cancel the 2 out. X ultimately is equal to 92 divided by 2, which is 46. Okay, there it is. All right. Now, let's do one more. Okay. So remember, feel free to pause the video and then go back to make sure you understand the 3 steps here. Okay. So here we have 3 to the 5th root of x minus 2 equals 4. Okay. You're trying to find out what x is because you're asked to solve this equation. So step 1, we need to isolate the square root term. Okay. Give it a try. You can pause this clip and apply those 3 rules to this equation here and see what you can do. I'm going to rewrite this here. 3/5 root of x minus 2 equals 4. So I'm going to get rid of the minus 2 here by adding it to both sides. Okay, so this cancels out. I have 3 to the 5th root of x equals 6. Okay, so I want to get rid of the 3 here. Remember, we're trying to isolate the radical, so get the square root term by itself. So let's get rid of the 3 here. Cancels out. So we have the 5th root of x equals 6 divided by 3. Okay. Now we're at step 2 because you've isolated the radical. Now you need to raise both sides of the equation to the correct power in order to cancel out the radical. Okay. So our mystery number here is 5. In order to cancel out the radical here, you need to take both sides to the 5th power. Okay, so that will cancel out, and then you have x is equal to 2 to the 5th. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And you're going to get 32. Okay. We're on a roll, so let's keep on going. Let me tell you, it gets funner here. Okay. I'm going to need a little bit more space, so let me set this up and I'll be right back.